During the Old Kingdom period of Egypt, 862181 BCE, the southern border region with Nubia was a critical area due to its rich resources and strategic location. Nubia, located to the south of Egypt, was known for its wealth in gold, copper, and other valuable resources, as well as its vital position along trade routes. The influx of Nubian immigrants into Egypt during this period led to significant tensions over land and resources. Nubians had long interacted with Egyptians, but during the Old Kingdom, there was an increase in Nubian migration into Egyptian territory. This movement was driven by various factors, including environmental changes, economic opportunities, and political pressures in Nubia. As Nubians settled in the southern regions of Egypt, particularly around the first cataract of the Nile, conflicts began to arise. The Egyptian state, centered around a highly centralized and bureaucratic system, sought to control and exploit the resources of Nubia. This included the establishment of trade expeditions, military campaigns, and the construction of fortresses to secure their southern border. However, the increasing presence of Nubian immigrants posed a challenge to this control. The Nubians brought with them different cultural practices, social structures, and ways of life that sometimes clashed with those of the Egyptians. Tensions were particularly pronounced over land and resource use. The fertile land along the Nile was limited and highly prized for agriculture, which was the backbone of both economies. As more Nubians settled in these areas, competition for arable land intensified. The Nubians, skilled in various forms of agriculture and animal husbandry, often found themselves at odds with the established Egyptian farming communities. Moreover, the Nubians' control over certain trade routes and resource-rich areas created economic friction. The Egyptians, eager to maintain their dominance over the trade of gold, ivory, ebony, and other precious goods, viewed the Nubian settlements as a threat to their economic interests. This led to a series of military expeditions by the Egyptian state aimed at reasserting control over these vital regions. The Egyptian response to the Nubian influx was multifaceted. They built a series of fortresses along the southern border to monitor and control the movement of people and goods. These fortresses served both defensive and administrative purposes, allowing the Egyptians to exert their influence over the region more effectively. They also established trade agreements and alliances with certain Nubian groups, integrating them into the broader economic network of the Old Kingdom. Despite these measures, the presence of Nubian immigrants continued to create a complex and often contentious dynamic. The cultural exchange between the two peoples was significant, with Nubians contributing to Egyptian society in various ways, including their skills in metalworking, pottery, and other crafts. However, the underlying tensions over land and resources remained a persistent issue. The influx of Nubians and the resulting tensions highlight the broader challenges faced by the Egyptian state during the Old Kingdom. This period, characterized by significant architectural achievements and the centralization of power, also saw its share of social and economic challenges. The interaction with Nubia and its people was just one aspect of the broader regional dynamics that shaped the history of ancient Egypt. By the end of the Old Kingdom, the pressures from both internal and external forces contributed to the eventual decline of centralized power in Egypt. The tensions with Nubian immigrants, while not the sole cause, played a role in the broader tapestry of issues that led to the fragmentation and decentralization of authority. This period of decline, known as the First Intermediate Period, saw a breakdown in the central authority and the rise of local rulers, further complicating the relationship between Egyptians and Nubians. In summary, the Old Kingdom period of Egypt saw a significant influx of Nubian immigrants, leading to tensions over land and resources along the southern border. The Egyptians' efforts to control and exploit the resources of Nubia, combined with the cultural and economic challenges posed by the Nubian presence, created a complex and often contentious dynamic. These interactions played a role in the broader challenges faced by the Egyptian state, contributing to the eventual decline of centralized power and the onset of the First Intermediate Period.